today it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Debra Ruzinsky. She's the executive director at our beloved Bainbridge Arts and Crafts. And I just want to give you a little background. The Arts and Crafts was founded in 1948. And it continues its mission to serve Kitsap County through gallery exhibitions, art education, and community outreach. And so we are so pleased to have you come into our community, Deborah, and take over as executive director. So my first question is to you is that, where did you come from and how long have you been on the island?
Brand new. I got here for the job, and I've lived all over the country at different points. I'm mostly a Southern Californian. I grew up in the LA area, went to UCLA as an undergrad. I'm a maker, an artist, a craftsperson, designer in my roots, and my training was all based in the craft arts in one way or another. And that training has kind of led me on a path that has ultimately led me here. And it's been a great ride. So I studied ceramics and glassworking and got an MFA at a place called the Rochester Institute of Technology. And I've been teaching workshops around the country and ran a craft center in a small town called Smithfield, Tennessee for a number of years before coming here. And I'm excited to be here, and it's a gorgeous place, and I'm really thrilled to take part in an organization with such a rich history and such a deep well of support in the region. So that's really wonderful, and it's been a very welcoming place to come.
Can I ask you one more question? Because it's something I ask all newcomers. How did you discover Bainbridge Island?
Well, it's funny. I actually came here a year ago. I'm a glass artist, and I'm on the board of the Glass Art Society, which is based in the Seattle area. And a year ago, we had a board retreat in Tacoma, and I came out and spent a night on the island with a woman from the organization, and that was the first time I had been to Bainbridge. I didn't get to see a lot of it, but it sure seemed like a sweet place to be, and made me want to come back. And then a year later, I had this wonderful opportunity and get to come back for good. So I had never had that opportunity before that, so it's all recent knowledge, but it's a really rich history in the region with Japanese and Scandinavian and all these other groups who settled in the region, and the Native American tribes in the area. I'm really enjoying learning all about those things. And we're looking at our exhibition schedule for the next year and trying to draw from some of those roots and make some interesting shows for you guys to enjoy.
Wonderful. So another question I have is for how, I haven't been up to the gallery in a long time, and we would go, usually once or at least every 2 weeks. And of course, First Friday, you go up there and grab a glass of wine and, fall in love with a piece of art. So, but I'm going to ask you, how are you dealing with this new normal? I hope it's not going to be normal, but how is the gallery dealing with that?
So we're in a category where we are allowed to remain open, which the museums are not right now. We just have to limit the number of people who come in. So because we have a sizable space, we can fit at most 10 people right now. We've stopped any in-person events. For a couple months, we were doing a few artist talks, but with the latest changes and uptick in COVID, we stopped those. And we're offering more things like that online instead. And we just rolled out just before Thanksgiving a brand new online store So I encourage you guys to take a look at the website and click on the virtual store and see what we have available there. So you can find some of work by some of our regular artists from the region and have pieces shipped to you where you don't have to set foot in the gallery if you're not comfortable. We're also looking to expand what we're doing. Our outreach and educational efforts have been really affected the hardest, the most severely since the pandemic started. So we're looking at ways to bring arts activities and art educational thinking online to be able to offer activities that you can download and use materials that you'd find in your house, and just to engage your thinking, say about a particular artist that we show. We can teach you what inspires that person and what techniques they use, and activities related to the way they use color or texture or form. It is a challenging time, and a time where I think we're all slowing down and evaluating what's most important. And for me, the arts really are how I enter the world, and my skill set and my ability to be resilient and my ability to have grit and get back up if I'm knocked down. The arts have taught me the skills that I use to be able to keep moving forward in a positive way. And so I see what we share as an organization with the public as more than just about art, but about problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills that you can use in all aspects of your life.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing I think a history proves to us is that during a time of trauma or, global pandemics or war, is that some of the best literature, some of the best art, some of the best music comes during these times. And I think that, we need time to escape and leave and go and see what other people are doing in order to become more resilient, to cope. And I think that your organization, Bainbridge Arts and Crafts, is a wonderful vehicle for that. Is there any examples you could think of recently? I know you're here. How long have you been here? So, by the way, when exactly did you become an executive director?
I started officially on September 7th. I was still living in Tennessee, and I started remotely. Working from home, and then we moved here just before Halloween. So it's been pretty recent, but I feel very plugged in, and it's a really wonderful group of staff. Some have been with the organization a very long time and have deep roots in the community. So I'm learning a lot from them about the larger community we have, artists and supporters.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're part of One Call for All, the 501. Yeah. Yes. So that's
yeah, that's a great program.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I know we a lot of times think about, we support, Helpline House when people, but supporting the arts is so important also. I mean, without it, yeah, where would we be? So, yeah.
Yeah, especially right now, if we're not leaving the house, how to keep yourself engaged and excited and interested, telling stories through visual arts or reading or movies or all that cultural input.
Absolutely.
To keep us positive.
So give us a little more about your background, where you were born, where you've lived, to kind of make you the person who you are today.
Sure. So I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, and my mother is a writer and photographer. My father was an electronics engineer. We moved a lot for his work when I was young. So we moved to New Jersey, then Massachusetts, and then Southern California, where my father worked in aerospace. And then as an undergrad, I studied design at UCLA, and all of my professors there were actually craftspeople. And I learned how to become a craft artist and be self-supporting. And there are kind of circuits of shows around the country you can do to make a living independently. And I did that for a number of years. And in particular, had a focus on working with glass and also clay. And that love carried me through and in a variety of directions. I worked in the film business for a number of years as a model maker and prop maker using those craft skills. Worked on some movies and commercials and music videos and retail store interior props. And then later went back to graduate school and got an MFA in glass and was a visiting assistant professor in Rochester, New York, and taught workshops around the country. Ended up, the experience I had in Hollywood prepared me well for a position I had in Maryland, working for a government agency, managing an exhibit shop for them, where we served museums and performing arts spaces and a park ranger force and a police force and an airport. And it was a really interesting, diverse job. And we made soapbox derby cars and life-size hot air balloons and all kinds of odd things.
Oh, wow.
So those craft skills really served me well in all kinds of ways. And then I was hired to be the director of the Appalachian Center for Craft in Smithville, Tennessee, which is part of Tennessee Tech University. I was there just about 4 years, and it's got a long history and has trained really skilled makers in blacksmithing and metals and clay and glass and fibers and woodworking. And I was there until recently when COVID caused statewide cutbacks in the university educational system. So actually COVID was the reason my job was eliminated. And 2 days later, the job here in Bainbridge was listed, and it was really kind of amazing. It felt like it was meant to be. I had what they needed, they had what I needed, and here I am. So it's been great from the get-go.
How serendipitous for us. I mean, for all of us, this is fabulous.
Yeah, for us.
What a diverse background you have. Wow, that is amazing.
And I was really impressed with the quality of the work that Bainbridge Arts and Crafts shows and the community of artists here, and I'm really excited to be a part of that whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we are so happy to have you. So we have you have an online store now.
Yeah.
And do you are you doing online exhibits too with certain artists?
We're doing more on social media to share like peeks inside artist studios and videos of artist talks that we've had, and we will be rolling out more as we go. We're adding to our skill set in those ways, and recently got some better camera equipment to do much more in that way.
Nice. So what platforms are you using, like Facebook or Instagram? What do you?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, MailChimp, email blasts. Anyone who is not on our mailing list and would like to be, feel free to contact me or go to our website. There's a button for getting on our email blast list, or my email is Debra, DEBRA, @BACART.org, and we'll add you. We mail out hard copy postcards for our shows, which change every month, and we have videos and features on Instagram and Facebook. So we're stepping up our communications with the public, since it's harder to see each other face to face.
Right. So
And today is what would have been a first Friday in normal times. So we're not doing the food and drink of former times, and we don't have the crowds, but we are open late for those who are out, and with no more than 10 people at a time. The gallery is open till 8 o'clock tonight.
Right. And of course, the mask and the whole, use your hand sanitizer.
Right.
And if you feel yucky, stay home.
Yes. We do have quite a roster of accomplished painters whose work we show, and photographers and woodworkers and clay people, fibers people, jewelry makers, quite a range of really high quality work. There's a number of really incredible furniture makers on the island. The show that opens today, we have a number of gorgeous furniture pieces on display. And some wood-turned bowls and gorgeous clay work. It's quite a nice variety.
Now you're tempting us to come down and take a look. I think it'll be safe. We put our masks on and just come in. Yes, I'd love to come in and take a look. I already have. Yeah. Well, Lawrence, do you have a question or a comment?
Yes. Just wondering if you're involved with the studio tour, the virtual studio tour. We got I guess a postcard on that, and we haven't gone on the computer to do the tour yet, but we're getting ready to.
The gallery is not officially part of it, but there are artists whose work we show who are a part of it. And I'm going to go as a visitor to check it out for the first time. It looks really wonderful. I've noticed the flyers about it around town as well.
Great. Well, welcome to the island. We're my wife Bonnie and I are fairly new. We've been here a little over a year, and like you, we just fell in love with this place. It's a fabulous place, and Karen, you're one of the real assets to the island.
Thank you.
So I'm curious about how local artists are doing in this pandemic. Are they struggling financially?
It's certainly a challenge. Most artists have to do a variety of things to stay afloat financially. A lot of them teach and sell work at shows and wait tables, and all of those things have been adversely affected by the pandemic. So a lot of them have suddenly had to pivot and learn how to create online workshops or studio tours via video, that kind of thing. They've pivoted quickly to figure out other ways to get their work out in front of people since they can't do it face to face. So it really is a testament to those skills you learn as an artist to come up with new ways to make it work.
Right.
I mean, the gallery has had a good amount of interest in the time I've been here. I can see that people really appreciate and support artists here, so that's been good, but I won't sugarcoat it. It is tough for people in the creative sector in general, especially if you're self-employed, don't have health benefits and that kind of thing, or it's certainly challenging. But I do think it helps a lot, the community of support that exists, and we have that in Tennessee, and I see that here very strongly, where artists really help each other, and these community events like the studio tour moving to online makes it possible for people to still get their work out in front of others, and shopping local and small as opposed to with the big companies like Amazon can really make a big difference to people who are teetering a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that showing support for our local people is really, really important. I know that my husband and I have made a concerted effort to shop locally as much as we can. I mean, there's some things that you can't, but certainly we want to support all of our small stores. And I know that the Downtown Association has started the SOS And I'm sure that you are included in that. So, yep, it's important to take care of our community.
Yeah, and we've had an art rental program as well, which can benefit artists. So there's a large new hospital in Silverdale, and we have exhibitions of work there, and works are for sale. So that
that's wonderful.
helps give artists a little more income as well for the rental of their work, and then a piece could be purchased as well.
Thank you so much for being with us today, and we will come down and check, meet you, and keep supporting our local artists. So
Thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate very much talking to you all.